The Hall of Fame. For some reason, it took the Premier League 29 years to make one, but better late than never. Now, the Hall of Fame is a sporting concept that allows the greats of the game to be recognised for their elite sporting achievements and decorated career, becoming immortalised as legends of their craft. The self-proclaimed home of the greats have announced its inaugural inductees this year, and the list is superior. And rightfully so, Premier League icons that have been celebrated for years. Luckily for us, all the players in the Hall of Fame so far are icons in FIFA 21, and I've decided, why not, let's add the Hall of Fame into career mode. Not only that, I've transferred them all to their Premier League clubs, added back to their most iconic of homes, the chosen ones. The 8 Hall of Famers have their prime moments icon cards, as we've got Frank Lampard at Chelsea, Alan Shearer back at Newcastle, the Magpie striker is going back to Tyneside, we've got Roy Keane, David Beckham, and Eric Cantona, all at current day Manchester United. Stevie G, Steven Gerrard is returning to Anfield. He's rebirthed with the second chance of winning a Premier League title with the Reds. And then, of course, the two Invincibles, Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp. Who knows, maybe these two can turn Arsenal's fortunes around, but what an established, esteemed list of players, the lucky 8. Can they survive? Can they cut it in the modern Premier League era? We're about to find out. Hopefully the clubs don't actually sell them off. I want to see their careers. I want to watch them play out again. Every player in this list is a league title winner besides Gerrard. Can Alan Shearer carry Newcastle to the Champions League? The possibilities here are endless, and because they're all 19 years of age, they are not retiring anytime soon. Their careers have been reset, and they've got their whole lives ahead of them. Here are all the starting 11s impacted. We've got Manchester United, of course, with the most icons, the most Hall of Famers. Eric Cantona starting in at striker, replacing his fellow countryman Anthony Martial. We've got prime David Beckham on the right-hand side, and Roy Keane joins Paul Pogba in the midfield.
Really?
I never thought of two more opposite personalities in my life. No, sorry Man City, no one's in the Hall of Fame for you just yet. We're moving on to Liverpool, where Steven Gerrard slots ever so perfectly in that central midfield, replacing Henderson. That'll definitely be a side to be reckoned with, as he is hunting for his first Premier League crown. Moving on over to Chelsea, where we possibly have the perfect central mid partnership. We've got Jorginho Frello, European champion at club level and on the international scene, partnered up with Lampard. That might be one of the most well-balanced, satisfying midfield combos there is. With Arsenal, is pretty self-explanatory. We've got Thierry Henry leading the line up top, and at centre forward, it is the second striker right behind him, Dennis Bergkamp. And last but not least, we have the striker edition of Alan Shearer at Newcastle. He's every Geordie's hero, and he's partnering up with Joelinton up top. Who knows, maybe you can teach him how to actually score a goal in the Premier League. That'll be a fascinating partnership to watch blossom. And for the rest of the Premier League teams, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to watch the Hall of Fame be re-added into FIFA. Mr. Chelsea himself and the rest pretty much represent a golden era of the Premier League. Let me know down below and discuss in the comments who is next to be inducted in the Hall of Fame and which icon is going to come out on top and re-emulate their career here as a Hall of Famer back in the modern era. Let me know down below. As for the time being, let's get simulating and see how this first season pans out. Have you ever wanted to see two degenerate YouTubers attempt to predict the Premier League season when separated by 15,000 kilometers of land and sea? Who am I kidding? Of course you do. Look no further than myself and Macwell's 2021/22 Premier League predictions video. Just FYI, a forfeit is on the cards for whoever has the worst predictions come the end of the season. So make sure to give it a watch. It's a good laugh. It's a fun time. The link is in the description. Go show the man some love. If you're giving Fantasy Premier League a go this season, make sure to join my league, SETI BCHD, link in the description. Anyways, now back to the video. Now here's our first look at the Premier League table with the Hall of Famers back in the league. Let's take a look. We've got Chelsea, Frank Lampard down in 8th. 60 points for him and the Blues this season, as all the other clubs... Oh wait, where's Newcastle? Sorry, Alan Shearer. I keep forgetting about him. The Magpies down in lower to mid table, 13th finish with 41 points. And meanwhile, in the top 4, Manchester United got 3 icons added back in their team, and therefore they made the most of it with a Premier League win. Cantona, Keane and Beckham add another one to their collection, and this time it's the modern day trophy. Steven Gerrard and Liverpool came close with 88, as the Invincibles return to the Emirates only saw them coming 4th. You can also see the impact it's had on Manchester City. They've got no players added to their team, so they're down in 5th. But of course, how did the other competitions go? Because it's not just all about the Premier League. We've got Steven Gerrard raising the FA Cup trophy 3-0 against Reading in the final. Over in the Carabao Cup, Liverpool again, they're winning everything besides the Premier League right now with Gerrard. It was a Hall of Fame battle as they took down Manchester United at 3-2 in the final. final. As the furthest any Hall of Famer got in the Champions League continentally was Steven Gerrard with Liverpool. 5-2 on aggregate, they lost out to Bayern Munich in the semis, where the Bavarians took down City in the final. As United, the league winners with all their icons, couldn't even make it out of the group. They got relegated to the Europa League. Lampard's Chelsea were knocked out in the round of 16, 4-3 to Real Madrid. Unfortunate scenes here as we switch on over to the Europa League, and Man United's icons couldn't even win that. Getting eliminated on penalties to Kaz Uepen. I've got no idea who they even are. Are they Dutch? Are they Belgian? We're jumping in up north, and we're just checking in to see how Shearer's Newcastle performed and what his stats were like this season. He's up top with Wilson this time. The strike partnership has changed, but how many goals did the 20-year-old score? Now, the Englishman back at his well and rightful home. In 49 appearances, he got himself 23 goals and 7 assists, the highest, the top goal scorer here at the club. 30 goal contributions in just under 50 appearances, and also with him and Callum Wilson up top, that is 37 goals between them. In all honesty, in a team like this, not bad. With the Gunners being sent 2 gifts from the Hall of Fame heavens, I was expecting something a little bit better. Dennis Bergkamp is not even in their starting 11. Where did he go? He's been substituted. I've got no idea what Arteta's been doing. However, let's take a look at their stats this season. The 2 best players at the club, we've got Thierry Henry, 49 appearances. He has well and truly earned that rightful place in at striker, leading the Gunners attack just like Shearer. Got himself 49 appearances, 28 goals and 9 assists, 37 goal contributions for the Frenchman returning to the Prem. However, Dennis Bergkamp, I think it's because of the centre forward positioning. I think the Dutchman will probably find some better luck. Only got himself 6 appearances, but in that time with 4 goals and 3 assists. An average 7.9 match rating, and for Henry an average 7.4. With Henry's valuation climbing up to £185.5 million, Dennis Bergkamp not too far behind him with 171.5. Now returning to Anfield, runners up for the league, and they won every single trophy besides the Prem. Their current starting 11 with a certain Alessandro Del Piero lining up at centre forward. Very interesting stuff to see other icons involved in this save. They've also got Patrick Vieira, but we're not focusing on them as we've got Stevie G, the main man himself. I should just give him the captaincy. There he is, rocking the modern day captain's armband, and the kit number, it needs to be number 8. It can't be anything else. His performance stats this season read a little bit like this. He's played the most out of any other Hall of Famer, 62 appearances. I guess he's played more competitions than them, but 16 goals and 10 assists. The first Premier League icon to achieve double figures in both departments, so I guess he gets that award too. 16 goals, 26 goal contributions, and 24 clean sheets with an average match rating of 7.1. It's like he never left. Gargantuan scenes here as Stevie G is back to his best. Now valued in this modern day transfer market at £148.5 million. Now taking a trip to Stamford Bridge back down to London to visit Chelsea, and it's weird, it's concerning that Lampard isn't even in their starting 11. He's been relegated to the subs bench. It's not what we wanted to see, but most importantly, did he get any game time? How much did he play? The 91 rated midfielder. This is strange. 29 appearances, 3 goals and 1 assist. Was it an injury-riddled campaign, or did he fall out of favour with the manager? I'm not quite sure. Who would have thought Mr. Chelsea himself would be relegated as a super sub? Benched by a Moroccan. This is not the start he wanted or the fans wanted. It's definitely caught me off guard, as it's been one of the most unexpected stories so far. Valued at £132 million on the dot, can Frank Lampard come back from this? No wonder why they finished in 8th. They barely played their best player. And last but certainly not least for season 1, it is Manchester United back to their winning ways with some of the best players to ever put on the shirt. They've also recruited a bunch of other icons, but the main ones we're focusing on are King Eric Cantona, who couldn't even get any appearances. I think the centre forward positioning really lets him down, and the assistant manager just doesn't select him. However, let's take a look at the main performers. We've got David Beckham with 57 appearances, 23 goals and 10 assists, double figures in both categories. With an average match rating of 7.2, Becks becomes one of the best Hall of Famer performances so far as we scroll all the way down to the Irishman Roy Keane, the no-nonsense midfielder with 57 appearances, 5 goals and 7 assists. Looks like he's formed a decent partnership with Pogba. They haven't torn each other to shreds yet. They're getting on quite well. Meanwhile, Cantona all the way stuck down here. King doesn't deserve to be this far down in the rankings. I think we'll just convert him into a striker and call it a day. We're back at Villa, and you know what that means. It brings to a close season 1. The Hall of Fame members return to the Prem. Some with outstanding success, some others gaining some trophies, and the rare few struggling for game time. Let's see how they take on their challenges and adapt to their new surroundings in season 2. Now here's how season 2's Premier League table is trotting along. We're going to take a look and see there is no Hall of Fame clubs yet to appear in the bottom 10. However, Chelsea and Newcastle, Alan Shearer has carried the Magpies up into 8th. With 64 points, they finish above the likes of Chelsea. That is a massive moment for St. James's Park. This Aston Villa team, which I have not touched, have finished up in 7th. Arsenal slipping down into 6th. Not qualifying for the Champions League. As you can see, who won the league? It was Liverpool. Stevie G has finally won a title for the Reds, and there you go. Anfield can now celebrate. All the Liverpool fans can rejoice. The more I look into it, the more it came down to the final day, and United, icon-packed team, couldn't defend their crown and slumped down into 3rd, still qualifying for the Champions League. As we take a look over at the FA Cup, it was Spurs to win against United. 2nd versus 3rd, and the North Londoners finally get a trophy to their name, as over in the Carabao Cup, it was Manchester City to win over United 5-4 on penalties. Not only did they clinch the Premier League title with Gerrard, they've done a 2005 all over again and have become champions of Europe. United's icons couldn't set up an all-English bout, unfortunately losing to Bayern 2-1 in the semis. That would have been an interesting encounter. However, with Lampard's Chelsea not qualifying for Europe and Shearer still well out of the European picture, there's nothing to really report on here in the Europa League, as City lost to RB Leipzig 1-0 in the final. The 2022 World Cup's also going down this year, so it's going to be fascinating to see if they can transfer that Premier League form over to the international scene and see how the Hall of Famers can do back in their national setups. This icon squad file is absolutely insane. Not only have we promoted the Hall of Famers back into the Prem, but all of their other icons and their other versions have been in the free agency. That means a nation like France have the ability to have 4 different versions of Zidane in the same midfield. That is right, it is a Zinedine Zidane midfield diamonds up top with Mbappe and Eric Cantona. So Thierry Henry is on the bench. England lining up a little bit like this. They've got Beckham back in the side, Scholes and Gerrard to make up the midfield pairing. However, no Lampard to be seen anywhere, as Roy Keane makes it through, or both of them go through to the Ireland first team. And thanks to the Dutch having a vast supply of icons to choose from, Dennis Bergkamp, the Hall of Famer, is nowhere to be seen in their national team 11. In what feels like Newcastle's best ever Premier League finish in decades, here we've got Alan Shearer. I said we needed some big things from him if he was to push the Magpies into a higher position, and let's see how his performances went. With 13 goals and 12 assists, that is 25 goal contributions from the veteran. He's the top goal scorer at the club, but alongside him and Callum Wilson, with 45 appearances, he's averaged a 7.1 match rating this season and now valued at £159 million. Arsenal look to have regressed this season, falling back outside of the top 4, with Bergkamp nowhere to be seen. It looks like the Dutchman is still receiving slander. However, Thierry Henry is thriving. Of course, the out-and-out striker with 48 appearances, 25 goals and 3 assists, 28 goal contributions is right up his alley, and he's gone ahead and replicated it here in the modern day. Unfortunately, the centre forward though, Dennis Bergkamp, we might have to change him into a striker. Lampard, where did it all go wrong for you at Chelsea in season 1? Have you redeemed yourself for season 2? I guess we're going to have to find out, because a 91 rated Englishman is now one of the world's best, still a crucial first team member that is only getting 29 appearances. With 11 goals and 2 assists, he's definitely showcasing his goal scoring abilities. More of a goal getting midfielder with 13 goal contributions. Whoever's managing this Chelsea team, they need to reevaluate their priorities, reevaluate their life, as they're only given half of the potential game time to the best player to ever play for their club. And now 20-year-old Lampard, valued at £132 million. You'd think with a team like this, they'd be playing in Europe year in, year out, but they are struggling. I guess we've got to pay homage to the title winners, Liverpool. Stevie G, you've finally done it. How does it feel, as it looks like he's been shifted more into a central defensive midfield role this season, with the likes of Patrick Vieira and Andrea Pirlo joining him in the midfield 3. Nesta has no chill. He doesn't care. He has stripped the captaincy not only from Lampard at Chelsea, but Gerrard here at Liverpool. An absolute savage. I kind of want to give it back to him. Nonetheless, we'll focus on more important matters, his performance stats this season, and my hunch was right. He was kind of shifted more into a CDM position, therefore lower output, less goals, less assists in comparison to his first time. 14 goal contributions in 56 games. He's got himself an average match rating of 7.0, winning the Prem and winning the Champions League, a season to remember. Now a 21-year-old prime Steven Gerrard in this market is now valued at £155.5 million. Last year's champions have fallen. The side with the most Hall of Fame icons in their team. Did Eric Cantona get the game time he deserves? Cantona with 62 okay, that's what happens when you change him from a centre forward to a striker. You automatically see the numbers skyrocket, as King Eric is back on top of the world, on top of his game, 39 goals and 14 assists. This is Messi and Ronaldo type numbers, and an average match rating of 7.7, the highest we've seen so far. He's one of the many greats that have formed the number 7 legacy at United, with 53 goal contributions in 62 appearances. Hands down, that is the best individual campaign we've seen from a Hall of Famer so far. He did it in the 90s, he can do it in the modern day as we scroll on down to David Beckham, who was one of United's main MVPs last year. 57 appearances this time for him as the right midfielder with 5 goals and 3 assists. Passing all the other icons is Roy Keane. You don't really expect him to score goals, it's not really his job, but he did get one this year with 4 assists. The Irishman fitting in back nicely here at Old Trafford, as him and Claude Makelele have kind of pushed Paul Pogba out of the starting 11. You definitely expect a stacked team like this to be competing for the top prizes next season, as King Eric, just like Thierry Henry, is bordering that £200 million valuation. The clubs have yet to sell them off for any profit, so I guess we keep going as season 3 beckons. 3 years in, and we've got Chelsea down in 7th, Arsenal in 6th, no signs of Newcastle, there they are. Alan Shearer has worked his magic and qualified Newcastle for European football, and again, it was a battle at the top between Liverpool and Manchester United. Just like the good old days, they were fighting it out to the last day in order to clinch that title, and Stevie G's done it 2 years in a row. Looks like they're going to be tough to beat the Reds on top of England once more. United finish runners up as both London outfits, Arsenal and Chelsea, out of the top 5. It's taken me this long to check the Golden Boot winners, however, this year in the Prem, with all of these Hall of Famers returning, it's still Harry Kane winning the top goal scorer award with 24 at Spurs. Jurgen Klopp's men are looking extremely dangerous right now. They could be on a treble winning haul as they win out the FA Cup 2-1 against Manchester City. United knocked out in the semis, as well as Chelsea. How has the Carabao Cup gone? Is Liverpool going to win this one? No, it's the first title for the Gunners. Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp have led the club to their Carabao Cup victory. The Champions League saw United topping Group H, finishing first, and the Premier League champions Liverpool down in second. I mean, they still qualified through the next round, but they didn't top it. Juventus dominated that group as the Reds found their way through against Barcelona 4-3, and United yet again stopped by the Bavarians 4-6 on aggregate. Liverpool's run continued, taking care of business against Man City 5-2 on aggregate in the quarters, and they progressed through to the semi-finals where they eliminated Atletico Madrid to find themselves in another final, and this time it's up against Lazio, and they showed them how it's done with a 3-1 win. Not only has Gerrard and Liverpool gone back-to-back in the Prem, but also back-to-back European champions. Stevie G's hit the pinnacle. How can he top this? Even though the manager is still playing him at a central defensive mid, he's not getting the best performances out of him, but as long as the lad's winning titles, I don't think he cares where he plays. The King of Merseyside right here has got himself 55 appearances with 9 goals and 9 assists this season. That is 18 goal contributions from Liverpool's legend. It's an important stat, 21 clean sheets for him at CDM, sitting right in front of the defense with an average match rating of 7.0. They've actually bitten the bullet and implemented a release clause in his contract. Interesting stuff from the board there. £290.5 million is the fee. However, his market valuation currently stands at 155.5. Now, these two were compared back in their playing days like all the time. Who was better, Gerrard or Lampard? Even Scholes was thrown in the mix. Definitely in the shadows of Stevie G right now, as he's still a crucial first team player with that famous 29 appearances. I don't know what the deal is, but he actually scored 11 goals and 1 assist this season, 12 goal contributions. In terms of how that ranks throughout the whole squad, he's actually the club's top goal scorer. He's scoring their most goals as a midfielder, or the manager just has something against him. It is such a strange scenario going on. It's night and day between him and Gerrard at the moment in every sense, as Kai Havertz actually overtakes him in terms of market valuation. Frank Lampard now down in second with an £138 million value. Now, the Arsenal situation is quite concerning because they've clearly got one of their best players of all time to wear the shirt again, and they're not utilising him to his potential whatsoever. I'm talking about Dennis Bergkamp. Things are all fine and dandy when it comes to Thierry Henry up top. However, the Dutchman is just getting absolutely shunned out of the starting 11, and it's time I do something. I've converted Dennis the Menace into a cam, so he slots right behind Henry. We should have done it from the get-go, really. I thought the manager would have figured it out, but no, Sir BCHD has to step in and finally make his mark. You lot have probably been crying out for that the entire video. However, we have a new king of North London right here. Gabriel Martinelli has actually outscored Thierry Henry. How is that even possible? The Frenchman with one of the lowest goal-scoring seasons yet, 14 goals and 9 assists. That reminds me, we're going to change his kit number to 14. In any case, 23 goal contributions in 55 appearances is less than you'd expect from a 94 rated elite goal scorer. How could we forget? Our big mate Alan nearly slipped our mind. Fortunately, I remembered, and it looks like Newcastle are on the up as Alan Shearer, one of the world's best, has been their highest goal scorer this season alongside David Trezeguet. That is a substantial upgrade from Callum Wilson. That strike partnership scoring 36 goals between them. 30 goal contributions in 43 appearances for Shearer in a mediocre Newcastle side. They've made upgrades and improvements there and thereabouts. With European competition on the horizons for Season 4, his price tag now up to 159 million. The Red Devils, they've come so close, but yet so far. Liverpool continuing to dominate, and Eric Cantona has been a player that has benefited from the position conversion. The 22-year-old Frenchman now at an out-and-out striker, United's number 7, and it hasn't been an outrageous output in comparison to last year, but it's still up there. 26 goals and 3 assists, 29 goal contributions in 39 appearances. He might have picked up a bit of an injury this season, I'm not quite sure, playing a few lesser games. David Beckham is back to his sparkling best, the Manchester United superstar, with 16 goals and 6 from the right-hand side, and those are some impressive numbers for Roy Keane himself at central mid. 6 goals and 2 assists from the Irishman, spreading a bit of Irish luck to this team. They're going to need all of it if they want to even win a piece of silverware next season. With a team like Liverpool, their Hall of Famers better be on their A game, as their most valuable asset continues to be Eric Cantona, just stuck at £194 million like Thierry Henry. Transitioning into Season 4, things are getting a little spicy. Teams are getting better. The Hall of Fame icons are thriving in the modern day Premier League. Not only that, but continentally and in other competitions, it has been a thrill to watch, and now we might be in for one of our last finales. I am shocked to say that for the first time ever, a team without a Hall of Fame icon have won the league. Manchester City, yes, they might have gone out and spent big money or recruited some icons from the free agency, but the Citizens are back on top of the Premier League as Liverpool slump into third. They couldn't do the three-peat, and Manchester United again are in their famous second spot. Okay, Aston Villa, right? They're the team that I'm controlling, but I literally have not touched them. I've just jumped around the clubs, haven't made any signings, haven't switched the team up, and for some reason, they're up in 4th. That might have killed the immersion for the experiment. That's my bad. I probably should have moved sooner. However, they have finished above the likes of Spurs, Chelsea, and Arsenal, who just love this 6th and 7th place. They are just fixated with that. And Newcastle, who rose all the way up to 5th last year. They've dropped down to 9th, but still maintain that top half of the table finish. In terms of the Premier League Golden Boot race, it is Hugo Sanchez with 32 goals, as Eric Cantona comes in second with, I guess, the silver boot, scoring 26 goals for United this season. Over in the FA Cup, Liverpool get a piece of silverware like they do every single year, with a 3-1 win over Lampard's Chelsea in the final at Wembley. What a run. What a moment for them, never failing to capitalise on success, and they've done so again. It was a Carabao Cup final between these two, and Lampard comes out second best once more in a 2-1 defeat. Our first piece of European news to report on is that Shearer's Newcastle have completely gone flawless in the Europa League with 18 points, finishing well top of Group I, progressing through to the round of 16 where they met their match Lazio and lost out 3-2. Arsenal looks like they've had a decent run, and actually on away goals they defeat Leverkusen to book their spot in the final, as Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp finally have something to celebrate about. A European title, it might not be a Champions League, but at least it's something. With a 5-4 win on penalties, the Gunners are European champions. Taking a look at the Champions League, where Liverpool lost out. They couldn't do the three-peat in the Prem nor the Champions League, as Inter get the better of them. United came out in second, as Group H saw them lose out to Atletico Madrid. In a year when Newcastle had some European football to play for, let's take a look at Alan Shearer in his final outing for Newcastle. This time for good, he has had one of the best years to date. 41 goal contributions in 51 appearances is definitely something to be applauded. With a better team around him, he has seen some better results in terms of output. Productivity has been at an all-time high, and he's bagged 31 goals with 10 assists. The first time he's gotten double figures in both those categories, which is absolutely fantastic. What a way to sign out of St. James's Park with a bang. We all know what's going on with the tragic scenes here at Chelsea. The Lampard situation isn't getting any better, but could he redeem himself? Still one of the best players at the club, not the best, as Kai Havertz has taken over him, not in terms of value, but overall. The English midfielder is one of the world's best, and this time, finally, after 3 years in a row of getting 29 appearances, he has broken through the barrier. A perfect campaign, no injuries, and it's 54 appearances, 21 goals and 7 assists. That's more like it. He was actually close to being the club's top goal scorer this season, as Christian Pulisic takes those plaudits. Nonetheless, it's 28 goal contributions for the midfielder with an average 7.2 match rating. Now that looks much more like the Lampard we know and love, as he's back in good form, back in his prime. Losing 2 domestic cup finals, finishing in 6th isn't ideal, but with that kind of individual performance this year, I think that's a brilliant way to send him off. Arsenal and their Invincibles duo are next off the bat, the Europa League champions, who finished 10 points behind Lampard's Chelsea, so I'm not expecting all too much. We did end up converting Bergkamp to a cam, but it doesn't seem like he's involved in the starting 11 whatsoever. Dutch cam slash striker actually got him, so okay, that is what we like to see. The cam, he wasn't in the starting 11, they're trying to bait us. Nonetheless, being a cam, he was the highest goal scorer, outscoring the likes of Thierry Henry, who, let's face it, hasn't really been at his best recently. In the last 2 years, his goal scoring record and prestige has taken a dip. 55 appearances, 18 goals and 7 assists, 25 goal contributions, and an average match rating of 7.0. Nonetheless, Bergkamp got himself 11 more goals with 6 assists, 35 goal contributions. Now imagine if the assistant manager actually utilized him and implemented him into the team earlier, or if I just pulled my finger out and converted him into a cam and or striker. Nonetheless, lessons were learned, mistakes were made, but this is how the valuation charts are looking financially. Henry down from 194 to 190, and Dennis Bergkamp still remains consistent after one of his best seasons on the pitch, carrying them to a European crown valued at 172.5 million. Despite only having one Hall of Fame icon, I think Liverpool have won this video. Like the Hall of Fame, the Reds have taken their success to new territory, as Steven Gerrard isn't in this starting 11. Okay, I was kinda getting shocked. I thought they sold him, but no need to fear. Stevie G isn't going anywhere. Liverpool's number 8 this season with 37 appearances, 5 goals and 6 assists. Ever since they pushed him back into that centre mid spot, I feel like they're limiting his potential. Nonetheless, 11 goal contributions, an average match rating of 6.8. It's a consistent classic Gerrard campaign, and you can't go wrong with him. That release clause still stands. No team in the world has paid that yet. He might not have won the league this season, but he sure has made up for it. It's the runners-up who we're checking last, but certainly not least, Manchester United with their plethora of icons. Let's find out and see if Eric Cantona, the king, could keep it up, and of course he has. United's famous number 7 with 32 goals and 6 assists in 52 appearances. The Frenchman got himself 38 goal contributions. Absolute insanity. A 7.4 average match rating is picture perfect, and he's outshone the likes of present-day superstars Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes. As we look down the table though, it has been a very disappointing season for the likes of David Beckham, concluding this video with 4 goals and 9 assists. I mean, he played more of a playmaking role this time around, with 13 goal contributions in 54 appearances. Meanwhile, Roy Keane, deep in midfield, scored himself 5 goals and 6 assists. Just like Thierry Henry, the Frenchman seems to have a synergy with his Arsenal counterpart, I guess, because they've both shot down from 194 to 190 mil. Their valuations depleting. David Beckham still in that 170s range, as Roy Keane is still well placed in third. Just because I completely forgot to check in on the 2022 World Cup results. I'm sorry for that. My bad. I can't go back now. I've just had a sneak peek at the 2024 Euros, and it's the Netherlands to defeat Spain, so Arsenal's Dennis Bergkamp gets European glory on international level. England get knocked out in the semi-finals, and the likes of Thierry Henry and Cantona are knocked out to the Netherlands in the semis as well. So that's what happens when you add the Premier League Hall of Fame, or the Hall of Fame so far, into career mode, transferring them to their former teams and letting it play out in the modern day era. You can see some of them struggled, like Lampard. Lampard had his hardships. Stevie G just automatically clicked back into place at Anfield. It took a while for Cantona to get going, but once he did, he completely tore the Prem to shreds. Beckham had his flashy moments. Roy Keane was as consistent as ever, and Alan Shearer got to relive his glory days all over again, bringing Newcastle to European football. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, and it brought you a little bit of Premier League nostalgia, just to get a look back into the glory days. Let me know down in the comments below who in these 4 seasons had the best careers. Who do you think should be the next 8 to be inducted into the Prem Hall of Fame? Because I think it's a pretty cool idea. We get to celebrate some icons of the league and just look back at the absolutely legendary status they have. Make sure to drop a sub if you're new around here. Check out all my other videos, because there is plenty of content on the channel. My socials are linked down in the description. As always, I've been Sir BCHD. Hopefully you have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the very next video.